Okay, MegaWhale team, welcome back to our channel. It's always great to have you guys tuning in to another video. Today's video is going to be a very in-depth analysis of Gala. We're doing a full technical and market analysis, talking about the short term, talking about the macro structures, the short-term structures, price targets, demand zones, supports, resistances, you name it, we're going to be covering it. We're also going to be going over a community question at the end of the video. I'm going to go ahead and show you the question now. The question is from one of our subscribers called Martin. He asked a question that goes along the lines of this. Hey MegaWhale, if you're holding Bitcoin until you shift your coins into altcoins, as an example, the video from March to January, how long are you holding Bitcoin for, and are you holding Bitcoin that entire time? We're going to answer that in regards to how I manage my portfolio in bull markets, particularly at the start of the bull market, how I shift my money from Bitcoin to altcoins, and what percentage allocation I allocate to Bitcoin and altcoins throughout the entirety of the bull market. So if you want to find out what that answer is, stick around to the end of the video. And if you want to submit a question for the next video, just leave a question down in the comments and we'll answer it in the next video for you. Let's go ahead and dive right into the charts. So Gala is looking pretty good. And we're going to go ahead and draw some lines in now. We're going to start with our long-term descending resistance line, which is going to be starting from that peak, that 25th of November, coming all the way down, retouching the 100-day moving average and that price point on the 31st of March. I think it was March. Yep, 31st of March 2022. And then obviously recently touching on the 20th of April. And we have recently seen a breakout. So pretty significant breakout. This is half the reason I want to talk about Gala today, because Gala is looking quite good. There's a lot of really good signs on Gala right now. It just really depends if we can hold over that resistance. We're going to go ahead and chuck our horizontal support, major support zones in, which we currently have a major support at this level here, which is sitting at around 15,372. And obviously we have a support range below, which is sitting over here, which is around 15,372. So this is a pretty strong demand zone, and we can see this as being a pretty strong demand zone just by looking at the chart. Obviously we have a lot of bounces over here, a nice strong retest here, and we have a lot of resistance and rejection. When we finally broke through our zone over here, we went quite parabolic. So we know this is quite a strong demand zone. So what we're going to do, we're just going to go ahead and indicate that as a zone by drawing a gray box like we usually do, encompassing that entire volume and area. Perfect. That's what the chart is looking like. That's the major zones right now. We're going to go ahead and put our major supports in. We obviously have a very strong support down here. This is basically the absolute bottom for Gala's chart, around at 7,953. Moving up from there, we have a pretty significant resistance close to 18 cents. And we lost that resistance, or should I say we lost that support, after we bounced around on our support at the beginning of February a fair bit over here. We came down, finally losing that support, getting pinched between the descending resistance as well as a horizontal support, and pushing downwards into the zone. So we know that is a pretty immediate major resistance we do need to tackle. Moving up from there, we do have the major resistance at around 20 cents. This is more of a psychological resistance as well as a horizontal resistance that we have found multiple retests on. Moving up from there, we have that 27 cent range major resistance. We're going to go ahead and pop that one in. This is the level that we found very difficult. We found a lot of resistance on in that March rally. We didn't quite push over the 100-day moving average, and we got rejected quite heavily from there. Moving upwards, the resistances get a little bit more sparse. We have a resistance up over here at around 37 cents. We did briefly break over that in the February rally for the first few days of Feb, but didn't really hold over there and since pushed down. And obviously from there, we don't have a lot of resistances upwards. I'm just going to leave that one out. We'll put our one resistance at 48 cents. We'll leave the rest out. So as you can see, this whole area down here is where we're holding the majority of resistances in volume. As we start pushing upwards, the gaps in the market become quite large. We start getting these bigger distances between our resistances, meaning the price can definitely fly between these relatively faster than we'll see the price break through this area. What does that mean? Well, it means a few things. It means first and foremost, it can give you a bit of time to accumulate if you're interested in accumulating Gala. It can give you a bit of time to plan and just like be patient and wait for the market to do its thing before you jump in. Because obviously trying to catch a ride, halfway up past a pump like this over here is just too risky. So you always want to get in on the ground floor or as close to the ground floor before that move really starts to take off. So there is our horizontal supports. resistances, diagonals, demand zones. We're going to go ahead and talk about triggers. So when would you be looking to enter on Gala? Well, I would say that the short-term entry has surpassed. The short-term entry was a break above this red line over here. That happened overnight in Australia time. I was up last night doing a video, but I was probably half asleep doing that video, just incredibly tired. So we're going to jump back in and go one today, but we can see a 200-day moving average on the hourly did cross. That was actually the trigger to enter on Gala. We've had a few crosses of the 200-day moving average before on the chart, of course. No crosses where the 200 has been above that 100 in the last few months besides over here, but finding instant rejection. The difference is this time we have broken out of that descending trend line, meaning that we have actually flipped the trend. The question is now, are we able to maintain above this descending trend line and actually form a new uptrend? So are we in an uptrend? No, we're not in an uptrend. All we've done now is we've broken out of the downtrend. We need to form an uptrend now. So what we're looking for is a few things. First and foremost, we're looking for either one of these two things. We're going to come down, we're going to retest this level here, we're going to bounce, we'll clear this new high, and that will form our uptrend. We'll look for entries. Either enter down here with a tight stop loss or enter here with a little bit more of a loose stop loss. That is where you'll be looking for entries on Gala. Alternatively, if we do break above this horizontal resistance, you can also look for an entry here, as that would clear that previous resistance zone or that upper resistance zone that we do have, indicating a push upwards to 20 cents. All right, so Gala is looking pretty decent on the larger time frame and the short time frame right now. Of course, a lot does rely on Bitcoin, and we're going to go ahead and bring up the Bitcoin dominance chart now. But before we do that, and before we get into our technical analysis after we talk about that, I just want to talk about Bitget real quickly. I wanted to quickly introduce my new favorite exchange, Bitget. Bitget is a non-KYC exchange, which is particularly beneficial for members in the UK and Australia who are limited by certain trade restrictions. Bitget has 250 plus spot trading pairs, as well as 60 plus leverage trading pairs, up to 125x leverage. Sign up now in the link in the description using our referral code to get up to $153 in rewards for completing 4 separate tasks. Let's go ahead and dive back into the video. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into our Bitcoin dominance chart. And the Bitcoin dominance chart is showing us a few really interesting things. The first one is that we had a recent rejection right over here from the Bitcoin dominance chart, indicating that altcoins could potentially see a little bit of a rally. And the reason being is because if you think about cryptocurrency as a whole, out of the 100% of money in cryptocurrency, at the moment, 42.1% of that money is in Bitcoin. When we start to see the Bitcoin dominance drop, what that means is we start to see a little bit of money flow from Bitcoin into alternative coins, altcoins, Ethereum, variety of other coins, which means we can see some sort of rally or relief in these coins. That is kind of what we're seeing now. On the contrary, guys, if we do lose this red line over here, or this red zone, we can expect altcoins to see a very parabolic run. We also do expect, or what I should say, what we can also see is if Bitcoin dominance actually pushes above this black line, we can see the opposite. We can see altcoins get absolutely destroyed. So we want this Bitcoin dominance price to drop, but we have to be aware that it is coming to the end of a descending trend line. It is coming to the end of a resistance. And at some point we do expect either a significant drop down or a significant move back upwards. So let's go ahead and get back into the Gala chart and do our technical analysis. And what we can see here is we'll bring up the same chart from before. We do have a descending trend line on the Gala chart on the RSI, indicating that although the price has in fact broken out of this downtrending line on the price chart, we haven't actually had a breakout on the RSI. What does this indicate? Well, it indicates we could potentially be seeing some sort of fake out over here, some kind of bull trap. And we have to be very much aware of that, because when we do not have a breakout on the RSI, we do not have that positive momentum. We don't have a confirmed breakout. I like to use the RSI to confirm breakouts. It doesn't mean it won't go up, but what it is telling us to be cautious of this breakout and do not be overly bullish and do not FOMO in. That is why we told you guys, where should you be looking to enter? Either enter down on the support with a tight stop loss, or when it breaks back above this line, we can look for an entry, or when it breaks above this level. I would not just be buying now for the sake of it. I would definitely be waiting to see what happens in the next 12 hours. Obviously the RSI is quite overextended on the 1 hour chart. Bitcoin is looking quite decent right now though, but a lot of things we do need to keep in mind. Of course, interest rates rising, ECT, all of that good stuff. So Gala is objectively looking really good. There is no doubt about that. I just don't think right now is the best time to be buying based on the RSI. But we do have a lot of other things to talk about. We're going to go ahead and drop down to a 3-hour chart. I want to show you the 100-day moving average on the 3-hour chart and show you where that is at the moment. We can see we're getting an instant rejection from the 100-day moving average. If we do clear that 100-day moving average, that would actually signify an entry signal. That would be telling us, look, we're going to be breaking above the 100-day moving average. We're going to see a rally upwards to the 200. So keep in mind, guys, the 100-day moving average usually acts as a short-term resistance or a flipping point or a trigger point for a short-term price rally. We can see most of the time when we do break the 100-day moving average, we see a small rally upwards. It's not always a huge rally. Sometimes we see a big rally, sometimes we see a small rally. But in this instance, we are outside of the massive descending trend line. We have a lot of buying power basically behind us now or below us. If we flip this 100-day moving average, we could definitely see a pretty explosive move up to the 200. But keep in mind, guys, the smaller time frame is looking like we could pull back. So I wouldn't be making any definitive decisions on that right now. I'd be waiting. I'd be a little bit more cautious. Let's go ahead and look at the larger time frame and do a little bit more analysis on the larger time frame. So the Ichimoku cloud is looking really good. We do have a break of the conversion line on Ichimoku cloud, which is in fact an entry signal. We don't really have a breakout of the baseline. The baseline can still act as a very major resistance. I do want to point out that the lagging span is in fact looking very good too. We found a lot of support down here, which is nice to see. Conversion line break. And let's go ahead and take a look at the 12-hour chart. Are we seeing anything different over here? Same thing, guys. We broke out of the baseline on the 12-hour chart. Conversion line is pushing upwards. If we can sustain this rally, if the conversion line and baseline flip, we will push into the clouds. It looks decent. There is much more favorable upside risk here for Gala than there is downside risk. I'm really liking the look of this coin. I think this is a very favorable coin to be looking for an entry on. I personally will be buying Gala. It's just a matter of trying to get that right time, get that perfect time. So we're going to go ahead and bring up the Gaussian channel next. And we can see on the daily to start with, let's take a look. We are very, very underneath that Gaussian channel. We are incredibly oversold here. And basically we're seeing something similar to what we saw here. This huge gap below the Gaussian channel usually indicates a push upwards. So we can expect a push back upwards to around 20-ish, 22 cents at some point. There will have to be a point where the Gaussian channel is retested, the price enters back to the midline, or even breaks out of that downside again. So the downside risk on Gala right now isn't too big. I do not think we'll be heading down too much more. I think we'll see some kind of relief here. But like I said, it all depends on Bitcoin, and it really depends where Bitcoin goes. So what are my price predictions for Gala on the short term? Let's go ahead and go back to that 4-hour chart. I think for the short term, it is more likely than not that we head up to around 20 cents. I think it's more likely than not we head up to around 20 cents. We can drop down as low as 15 cents though before that occurs. I think if we lose 15 cents, then we're looking at invalidations, then we're considering the possibility of a bull trap. Until then, our eyes are set on higher targets. For the long term, so for the larger term time frame, if we had to suppose this was the bottom for Gala, and I am not saying it is, so I'm definitely not saying it's the bottom. There's a lot more that can go wrong. There's a lot of time before we expect the bottom to be in. But if I suppose this was the bottom, where could I see for Gala? Well, I think we would break over the Gaussian channel and have a nicer run up. I think anywhere about 37 to 48 cents in that long-term time frame is a reasonable target for Gala. It's a great coin. It's got great fundamentals, great team, and they're doing a lot of things. I think they're making hundreds and hundreds of different games at the moment in development. So Gala is definitely a potential one, especially for Metaverse, to be looking out for in the future. I'm a big fan of it, and I think it will do quite well. It's just a matter of reversal. It's one of those coins that went up massively, very, very quickly. Therefore, it's had this prolonged period of selling, taking profits, panic selling now, and a lot of people who bought Gala previous to, November 15th are basically now majority at a loss. So a lot of people are just holding their bags and hoping for the best, which means we are getting closer to that baseline, that bottom potential. So let's go ahead and bring up our community question on the page. Just to show you guys again, Martin, one of our subscribers, great subscriber. Thank you, Martin, for submitting the question. Really nice question. Let's take a look. So he says, if you're holding Bitcoin until you shift to alts, which we did mention previously, are you just then holding Bitcoin and waiting the entire time? So he is referring to this chart here. We talked about this one a few times, and I talked about how on this chart, in the initial phase of the rally of the market, the bull market, we can see that Bitcoin massively overperforms every other cryptocurrency, basically in that phase. We see at 11x gain on Bitcoin, since that bottom to that first initial drop, but we only saw about 4 or 5x gain on altcoins. So his question is, are you just holding Bitcoin this entire time, referring to here, or are you trading, or are you buying altcoins as well? The question for you, the answer to you, Martin, is I'm doing about 60% holding. About 60% of my portfolio will be here holding, so I'll write 60%, and I'll have the rest, 40%, which will be dedicated to scalp trading and swing trading. All right, these will not be holding. I will not be holding altcoins here. I will be primarily holding Bitcoin and swing trading and scalp trading. If I find very, very undervalued altcoins in this period, I will invest 1% of my total capital in those altcoins at a time. What happens next is we move over to the next period. After this initial drop, I will flip. So I'll have 60% of my holdings in altcoins, which I will hold. By that time, I would have decided which coins I want to hold, which coins are performing well, what the market trends are, all that kind of stuff. 60% holdings, and trading with 40% always. All right, that doesn't mean I have 40% in the market. I could have 10% of it, I could have 20% of it. I always have spare capital on the side to make decisions with de-risk or leverage certain positions. At that point, I will have 0% of my money in Bitcoin. That is how I personally trade. That is how I found I get the best results when trading bull markets. I did about 3,000+% last bull market from doing this alone, and I would say I missed out on a lot of amazing coins, but you can still get a really, really good results following this strategy, and it is a strategy that's been proven time and time again. Money flows to Bitcoin, money flows from Bitcoin to altcoins, and then money flows out. That is basically how it works. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was informative. I hope you learned a lot, and I hope it gives you a bit of an understanding about Gala. I'm going to do a quick summary on Gala, just for those of you who are skipping to the end of the video. Gala is in a descending wedge breakout. It have recently broken out of that descending trend line. It is looking very good. The RSI, however, is suggesting we could see a potential bull trap on our hands. Every other indicator is suggesting that we are close to the bottom. If not, we are going to bounce. The Bitcoin dominance chart being the most important one, suggesting that altcoins are going to see a little bit of a rally from here upwards, and we do have a short-term price target of 20 cents for Gala, and for invalidation point under 15 cents. So guys, to finish off the video, I'm just going to introduce Crypto Academy. Crypto Academy is a 10-unit Become a Trader course where we teach you everything from the fundamentals of trading, market analysis, technical analysis, and even how to find your own trades and how to execute your own trades with precision and risk management strategies professional traders use. If you have any questions on how to get involved or sign up to a course, you can contact us in the email in the link in the description below, and we'll answer you there. All right, guys, with that being said, I will catch you in the next video.